Welcome everybody to the NATO official video. NATO stands for North Atlantic Treaty Organization, and today we're gonna be.
The NATO, or North Atlantic Treaty Organization, is one of the biggest organizations in the world, and it is composed by numerous powerhouses of the world. It was created as a military alliance in 1948 in Brussels, Belgium, in which countries in it should protect and help each other in case of military aggression. During the Cold War, the NATO had numerous interventions. Nowadays, it is one of the most polemic organizations in the world, as their principal purpose is based on war and interventions that includes helping out in other NATO members countries. The NATO was signed the 4th of April of 1948 in Washington, D.C., and then over the years, countries started to integrate this organization. During the Cold War, the principal purpose of the NATO was to fight against the URSS, that they even make their own alliance called Warsaw Pact. However, this pact disappeared after the end of the Cold War, and NATO persists nowadays. NATO countries expand their military forces to Europe, even though US presidents have opposed of sending troops to Europe. NATO has fielded already 25 divisions. In 1954, NATO tried to use nuclear weapons in case of Soviet invasion. Being a NATO's international staff is a high challenge for the people because you represent 28 countries, and also you need to develop the facility of dialogue and policy and other many things to be good at this job. The only two valid languages recognized by this organization is English and French, and the total military spending takes up a total of 70% of the world. US by themselves have 43%. This percentage may have get lower since the arrival of Donald Trump, who doesn't want to keep giving funds and money to this organization.
The main purpose of the NATO is to keep the peace and freedom all over the world with the cooperation with some European countries. Their principal objectives are always end terrorism, fight against dictatorships, or countries where there is violation against the human rights.
One of the ongoing events that NATO is covering are the wall forest fires in Haifa, Israel. More than 4,000 emergency calls have been reported to be about fires. The most common injury at the fire is inhaling the smoke it produces, which have already affected 160 people. Luckily, there are no registered death counts of the forest fires. Weather conditions like high winds and dry conditions make 11 neighborhoods relocate, having to evacuate 60,000 people to 80,000 people, some which will be homeless due to the destruction caused by them.
NATO is also assisting the migrant and refugee crisis that's going on in Syria because of their border conflicts with Turkey. The problem surpassed World War II for the most amount of people fleeing from their country. Due to life-threatening situations, NATO's role in the conflict consists on inspecting the agency of any kind of illegal trade and migration, surveilling the border for suspicions. They are also working with the Greeks and Turks to take care of the border while not overriding their power when it comes to maritime.
Some of their actions were during the separation of Yugoslavia and Bosnia-Herzegovina in 1992. NATO did the first combat operations when they shot down 4 fighter bombers from Bosnia side on a mission to cause havoc in 1994. After the United Nations had already declared a no-fly zone, a campaign was made by NATO to take control of Bosnian commands and facilities. Both sides negotiated and the war was ended. Their actions finalized in 2004 after they compromised various troops and established their regions. NATO's first counter-terrorism operations was during the tragic events of September 11, 2001. They were in charge of supporting the United States by sending packages. This was called Operation Eagle Assist. They had 7 NATO bags aircraft hovering all around the United States skies with radars. People from a total of 13 countries support the cause day and night, having 830 crew members on board. NATO's counter-piracy in the Gulf of Aden, they scored the UN programming of food where piracy affected the efforts to salvage Africa. they conducted a series of projects in the Somali coast on how to put a stop to piracy. The project started in 2008 with the goal of defending the seas and piracy. Safety was a real concern for commercial, maritime routes, especially because most pirates commit armed robberies. That is dangerous to the people in charge of the vessel, and they can also lose the products they have on board. But now, NATO has done a pretty good job of securing the Horn of Africa.
Air policing is another ongoing mission that is carried out by NATO to protect the airspace of all allied countries at all times of the day, 24/7, mostly in the smaller European countries like Albania, Estonia, Iceland, Latvia, Lithuania, and Slovenia, which can afford those type of services. This program is meant to identify other unknown aircrafts that may cause danger. Now, on to the conclusion and resolution. The strategic concept reaffirms the defensive nature of the alliance and the resolve of its members to the safeguard of their security, sovereignty, and territorial integrity. The alliance's security policy is based on dialogue, cooperation, and effective collective defense as mutually reinforcing instruments for preserving the peace, making full use of the new opportunities available. The alliance will maintain security at the lowest possible level of forces consistent with the requirements of defense. In the way, the alliance is making an essential contribution to promoting a lasting peaceful order. The allies will continue to pursue vigorously further progressions in arms control and confidence building measures with the objective of enhancing security and stability. They will also play an active part in promoting dialogue and cooperation between the states and the basis of principles enunciated in the Paris Charter. NATO strategy will retain the flexibility to reflect further developments in the politico-military environment, including progress in the moves toward a European security identity and in any changes in the risk of alliance security. For the allies concerned, the strategic concept will form the basis for further development of the alliance defense policy, its operational concepts, its conventional and nuclear force posture, and its collective defense planning and arrangements. Now, on to the conclusion and resolution. The strategic concept reaffirms the defensive nature of the alliance and the resolve of its members to the safeguard of their security, sovereignty, and territorial integrity. The alliance's security policy is based on dialogue, cooperation, and effective collective defense as mutually reinforcing instruments for preserving the peace, making full use of the new opportunities available. The alliance will maintain security at the lowest possible level of forces consistent with the requirements of defense. In the way, the alliance is making an essential contribution to promoting a lasting peaceful order. The allies will continue to pursue vigorously further progressions in arms control and confidence building measures with the objective of enhancing security and stability. They will also play an active part in promoting dialogue and cooperation between the states and the basis of principles enunciated in the Paris Charter. NATO strategy will retain the flexibility to reflect further developments in the politico-military environment, including progress in the moves toward a European security identity and in any changes in the risk of alliance security. For the allies concerned, the strategic concept will form the basis for further development of the alliance defense policy, its operational concepts, its conventional and nuclear force posture, and its collective defense planning and arrangements. As part of the resolution, in July of 1997, NATO heads of state and government agreed that the strategic concept should be re-examined to ensure that it remained fully consistent with Europe's new security situation and challenges. The Council was requested to initiate the work with a view to completing it in time for presentation at the next summit meeting in 1999. As a team, we conclude that NATO was born after World War II, and the main purpose was to keep peace, and at many times it became a polemic organization, since they intervened in many places without almost any restriction and looked to help countries in need without benefiting. They can tackle on a variety of tasks, ranging from military operations to assisting missions. They follow territorial guidelines, which, if violated, an outbreak may occur, surging with protests and conspiracies. They have changed Afghanistan, looking for a bright future, showing the way to success in terms of economical and political issues, convincing other countries to solidify and trust that they will show in time of distress, bringing hope to reality. So, as part of what we did to make our community great, we made various things to make this event happen, which is called Eventos de el Negocio de la Guerra. And we have 2 days in which we will be spread out across the board to help this committee. And there's a lot of great people coming on, famous people around the globe. We made an Instagram account which have some news that talk about current events and some other news on Twitter too, which make this event popular, and so friends can share it and people can come to finally see like their favorite politicians and spokesmen. There's also like what we did were some new news articles in which like Marcelo, Gabriel, Daniel, Velez, and me made, and this is Semblanza, and yeah, this is pretty much what we did. So this is the actual event of Moon on the 3rd and 4th of November, in which there were pretty neatly placed flags. There's Jean-Marc, our president of languages. This is the meeting we attended, Fin de la Esclavitud, in which they teach us how to stay away from trouble and how to avoid manipulation. That's my friend Gabriel. He was France at the meeting. He is part of this group which is making this video, and he was helping me get information from social media and the internet. And this is a picture of my taco when we had the recess time for 1 hour at the lunchtime at 2:30. These are my friends Miguel and Oscar, who were, I guess, Canada and Oman. This is what Canada won, El Ken, for being the delegate, which was the most handsomest delegate of all. And these are my friends. In the middle is me, then on the right is Marcelo, on the left is Eduardo Velez, who are making this video as well. And they work on Semblanza, and Velez worked on the Twitter account to make news. And yeah, we got together with older kids that were helping us do this process at meetings and such. They were nice people. They were our chair and our board. They helped us. There was Marcelo after the whole event. He was pretty tired. Me too. Everyone was. We just happy that it ended. And there's the lady that gave us the speech about UNICEF and how she traveled all around the globe. And that's my friend Benjamin, who was the board, also taking pictures of the people who won. And actually, I thought I wasn't good enough to win, but I'm satisfied with my grade, and everyone was happy with their grade, and this was a pretty awesome event as a total.